All right, so this is the Miyoo Flip V2, and I wanted to get this because when I picked up the Anbernic RG35XX I felt it was too big. And as you can tell here, it's obviously bigger, right? It's thicker, it's wider. It's a lot. It may seem like a minor difference, but in your pocket, at least in my pocket, I felt the difference. Also, I felt like the buttons were a little too loud on the Anbernic. So as you can see here, way more muted on the Miyoo Flip. So I wanted to get something a little bit smaller, and I don't need a lot of horsepower because I just want to play some of my favorite Game Boy and Game Boy Advance games. And this fit the bill. So I reached out to the folks over at LitNXT. They've been awesome to me, and they sent this one over for review. So what I'm going to do today is show you the outside, make sure you're familiar with the device so you know what you are considering buying, or maybe you're just interested in what this has to offer. And then also, I'll show you some games that are amazing to play on this thing. No hiccups, no problems, just a lot of fun. Now, you can get this on the LitNXT website. There's no affiliate link for you, but there is a link. I don't get paid for it. Just click the link if you're interested in seeing more. And you'll find that LitNXT sells this in 4 different colors: gray, black, white, and yellow, and in different configurations. It starts at $90. You'd be buying just the console at that price. And then you can also get it with Surwish OS, either in 128 gigs or 256 gigs of storage. Now, this device, I'm not going to be able to get into the nitty-gritty details of like horsepower and all the things it can or can't do. I can only tell you about my experience with it. I'll definitely go over some specifications after I give you the tour of the device. But for me, there's so many different devices out there. I think it's challenging sometimes, depending on what you're looking for, to know which device to get, right? Do you get the Miyoo Flip or the RG whatchamacallit? Do you get a Trim UI brick? Do you get a GKD Pixel? There's so many out there. And I think for a lot of us, we probably just are gonna end up with a bunch. So here's my use case for the Flip. Here's what I've enjoyed using it for, and hopefully you find that helpful. So let's dive in. All right, now, Miyoo also includes, or at least LitNXT included this case. No extra charge for this. It's a hard shell case with the Miyoo branding on it. The console fits perfectly in here. There's room for additional storage as well. Now, what's in here now is a screen protector, which is very cool of them. I'm probably not going to install it, but I'm glad it's there. If I end up giving this to my son, I will definitely install it. You zip it right up and no wiggle or wobble. It's a perfect fit for the Flip. It also has this cool decal. Look at that. It's a controller. I love that. All right, back to this guy. So, in terms of what we have here, it is a mix of aluminum alloy and ABS plastics. So ABS plastics you normally find in, laptops, say under $800, or gaming laptops. They're like $1,400, right? You're gonna see, in some cases, ABS plastic. And it's very rigid, and you're not gonna end up bending it or scratching it very easily. It's a good way to go. It is a 3.5-inch full IPS display at a resolution of 640 by 480. It does have a wireless card in if you want that. There is a RK3566 A55 CPU, all right, at 1.8 gigahertz. Sounds like a lot of gigahertz. I'm sure the Game Boy didn't run that fast, and maybe that's why the games run so well on this thing. A 3,000 milliamp hour battery, and it did come, I'm pretty sure it came with a charger. Yes, it did. It came with this charger. Bang, look at that. It came with this charger, and it works. It works great. So charge time, I don't know, but it charged, so I'm glad that worked. Product is 170 grams, and like I mentioned, a 2.4 gigahertz or 5 gigahertz Wi-Fi, and apparently has Bluetooth as well. I'll have to test that the next time I'm on a plane. Okay, so this is Surwish OS. And I'll show you that in a second. I forgot, I want to show you the outside first. Okay, so again, for size comparison, volume rocker, SD card slot, micro HDMI, so you can connect this to a monitor or TV, USB port, L1, L2, R2, R. Oops, I meant to rotate both. Another SD card slot and a power button, and an LED light indicator. So really similar design to this guy. Now at the bottom, very clean, USB-C and a headphone jack. And on the back, nothing, nothing of interest. Nice little ribbing here, cool design. You can get access to it from the back. Really clean overall design. Nothing wild, nothing to make you feel like, I don't know, you're buying a toy, but you are, and it's a super cool toy. All right, now Surwish OS does support quick resume. So when you close the lid, the display turns off. I believe it goes into a low power state. Certainly when I've pressed the outside buttons, my games haven't changed state. So it goes into a suspend mode. Now on the front here, you have a memory button or menu button. So this allows you to do different things, contextually. D-pad, 2 joysticks, which is cool. So check this out. This guy here, the RG, whatchamacallit, does not have that. And then you also have your traditional face buttons and start and select buttons. So I asked for the black model because I like this, Famitsu sort of color scheme. I'm not even a closet Game Boy nerd. I'm a super Game Boy nerd. So I wish this color scheme were available on this device, but it's not. All right, so Surwish OS is very easy to use. This is not my first handheld with it, thanks to LitNXT. Other handhelds I've gotten from them or purchased from them have had it as well. So a quick tour of the settings. You can power off the device from here. You can change the brightness. It does get very bright for a little handheld. You can adjust your frequency in terms of hertz, the Wi-Fi and Bluetooth. You can change the color saturation, illumination, the presentation of the screen at your command. It's a global change, however. Your menu language, I am not going to try to change that because I will not be able to change it back. Calibration, key mapping, turbo input, interesting. Background music, no thank you. You can also change the themes. So this is the default theme, and it's great. It's fast, it's responsive, nothing wrong with this whatsoever. I was playing with the themes and I landed on that other one, but there are a bunch of themes in here. This one's cool too. Look at that, there's Link. All right, I'm gonna have to stick with this because I'm a big Zelda fan. We'll see what I end up sticking with. All right, you can jump right into emulation station, hibernation, timeout time, factory reset the device, get information about the device. So that's helpful. Nothing in SD card too. You can eject it, do a hardware test, and that is everything that's here. Let's look at some other themes. Yeah, looks like the 3DS ones. That's cool. I'm not feeling this. That's ridiculous. Oh my gosh. Game Boy Mini? Nah, I'm not feeling this one either. Wii U? That's obnoxious. All right, we're going back. I'm going back to this one. This is sick. This is sick. Okay, I like this one. Okay, so you can go to the recent games that you've played. I'm not sure how many it keeps in memory, but I imagine it's at least 10. I'm not going to give you an exact number. I'm not going to click on it. I just don't want to. All right, so if you go to the games menu, this is where you see a bunch of different emulators. In fact, I'm going to make a quick adjustment on the theme because the other themes will tell you, at least some of them, what those consoles are. All right, so plenty of consoles here. I just hit the power buttons. This is a good time to tell you that YouTubing is hard. YouTubing is very hard. All right, turn it back on. Quick resume, right? That was very quick. Okay, let's go back to the beginning here. Okay, page 1 of 8. So we have Amiga, Atari, Coleco, some DOS titles, Commodore 64, Atari Lynx, Game & Watch, Game Boy, Game Boy Advance, Game Boy Colors. Now these 3 handhelds are the primary reason I wanted to get this device. This is where I like to play. I've got a bunch of carts, like a ton of carts. because I can't help myself. For some reason, when I go on vacation with my family and I'm in some other town and I find a retro game store, I walk in there and I don't walk out without, at least a game or two or 5 or 6. So I like to play these games, man. I think they're a lot of fun, but they're hard. And look, here's the thing. I play hard games. I love hard games, but there's something about the difficulty of these older games that it's really not about skill. It's about like I don't know, console limitation. Trying to time a jump in a platformer on a Game Boy game, I don't know, drives me crazy. So having the suspended states, save states, that kind of thing is absolutely critical for me. At least maybe I suck, I don't know. So those 3 consoles are the primary reason I want to get this, but you can also play Super Nintendo and NES, Virtual Boy, Nintendo 64. I mean, there's just a ton of console support on this. I have not tried any PlayStation games. The only PSP game I tried was God of War because I own the disc. And a bunch of Sega consoles. I was never a Sega kid growing up, but I will admit Sega Aladdin's better than Super Nintendo Aladdin. Videos, we are not clicking on that. Okay, so those are the supported consoles. So let's fire up a game. Give me a second here. All right, so this is Return of the Joker on the Game Boy. Now, Batman games, they're a little tricky. There's some bad Batman games, especially on those older handhelds, like the Game Boy Advance ones. There's a Batman Beyond Game Boy Advance game. It stinks. All right. No offense to the person who made it. I'm sure you're awesome. I cannot remember how to do it straight. Hang on, we'll get there. Well, this is embarrassing. There we go. Oh. Oh, man, I forgot all about this. The Nintendo version is very good, by the way. Come on, come on. Nice. Oh, shoot. Oh, that's awesome. All right, let's fire up another game. So to hit another game, you can press the menu button. I'm calling it the menu button. And exit game. Let me pull up another game here, bring it back for you. Let's see. You know what? Hey, let's look at the Nintendo version rather than the Game Boy version. I spent so much time playing this as a kid. This and the G.I. Joe game. Gosh, that game was great. Come on. I'm getting rocked. I just remember the graphics on this so much better than the original one, which is a great game too. Batman 1 on NES. I know I'm nearly dead. The rule is we play until I die. Oh, come on. Oh, brutal. Okay. So hopefully you can see that the screen is great. It's very bright. It's not even on max brightness. It's on a level 5 brightness right now. And what I need to figure out is what's the shorthand key to adjust the brightness when you're playing. So sometimes it's like you hold down some kind of context button and press up, but that's not it. Actually, maybe that is it. Hang on. Nope, that's definitely not it. Or it might be start and select at the same time with up. No. So we'll have to play with this a bit to get really comfortable with it. But yeah, that's my initial take on the Flip V2. I've really liked this device, and especially because the hinge is so tight. You know, it just doesn't wobble, and it locks into position to a couple different positions here. So that's very easy to use. I'm not saying that this guy here isn't any good, of course it is, but it's all about your preferences, right? Do you want something a little smaller, or you want something a little bigger that has a, you know, a bigger grip, a slightly bigger display? There's nothing wrong with that. I mean, I still probably will use this, but one of these will end up being my son's. We'll see, probably the bigger one, be easier on his eyes. Okay, well, that's my initial take on the Flip V2. I hope you found this helpful. And thanks to LitNXT. Link in the description. It's not monetized, but it'll take you right to their site so you can pick this up in the configuration that you prefer. Thanks a lot. Catch you on the next one. Cheers.